My name is Louise Towell, and I'm the creator, co-founder, and now executive director of the Stream of Dreams Murals Society. And I'm really, thankful to be here to talk to you a little bit about Stream of Dreams and what it I think it means to communities and certainly to the health of salmon. Stream of Dreams began about 20 years ago, and it began because our local creek was poisoned, and it was poisoned because of someone dumped something into a storm drain, and it went into the creek and it killed everything. It was 100% kill. It was over 5,000 fish that perished. A beaver died. All kinds of other creatures were affected by it. We don't even really know what happened. We believe that the person that did this, that poured that substance into a storm drain, didn't know. We believe that they didn't know that all drains lead to fish habitat. So other things were happening in our community at the same time. So we combined the two issues. One of the issues was our community was looking really bad. It had a chain link fence around the middle of it, and it was surrounding a dreadful work site that was going to be left there for months, maybe even years. And we thought, well, we need to make it more beautiful. So how can we make it more beautiful? Well, let's put Burn Creek on the corner of Edmonds and Kingsway. So we sought out, we connected with stream keepers, the Burn Creek stream keepers, and I connected with a wonderful woman named Joan Carn, who maybe some of you may know. She's very active in stream keeper. And the two of us co-founded the Stream of Dreams. And we went to all the schools in our watershed and talked to them about the local storm drains and the local watershed. A lot of them didn't even know that there was a creek in their neighborhood. A lot of them didn't know the name. They didn't know that there were salmon. It was just actually quite shocking how little they knew. And that's when we realized that, wow, people really do need this information. And so we ended up on the 20th anniversary of BC Rivers Day, 1,300 fish on the corner of Edmonds and Kingsway. You know, we thought we did a good job, and we patted ourselves on the back, and away we went. And then schools began to call us and say, can you come to our school and do this? So 20 years later, Joan has retired, and I've carried on swimming with the dreamfish, and feel pretty honored to be able to help communities find their local watershed and learn about storm drains. It's a piece of the sadness of salmon and the loss of salmon. It's perhaps only a little piece, but it definitely is the connecting piece to communities. I'm really happy to tell you about Mural in a Box. It was kind of a surprise how it came about. Because of course with COVID, all of our programs were canceled, and we thought, okay, well, we'll just change the year and make it from 2020, we'll do it to 2021. But of course COVID kept on going, so we thought, well, is there any other way? How can we deliver this program virtually? What we do is we put together all the pieces that you need for the art room, because that's really the big piece. Getting all the paint, getting all the brushes, getting all the fish. We deliver it to the schools. We talk to and the teachers deliver the painting portion right in their classroom. And so that's awesome, and it works out really well. But we make sure that they have everything that they need, including instruction on how to do it so that it's super simple for them. And then we provide our 45-minute education program about storm drains and about how to prevent water pollution, how to help salmon, and how to also, we're locating them to their actual watershed. So it's not some sort of watershed, this is a watershed. No, this is your watershed, and this is how your storm drains lead to it. And this is where your school is, and this is how you can make a difference. So we do it virtually, and to our incredible delight, it has translated beautifully. So we think that it has more to do with than just the storm drains, not just the storm drains, but preventing water pollution. We think that there's a sense of doing a project that's very difficult to do right now, a project that includes the entire school. And so to have togetherness without being together, this is what the program Mural in a Box does, and especially during COVID. We are we feel very blessed that we're able to do this, and that schools are just so happy to be involved with it and do it and do that little extra bit. I think, we've contributed a lot to just bringing awareness that those storm drains are more than a drain, and the drains in your house, more than drains. They are openings to habitat, and that's how we contribute. Just go to our website or email us, info@streamofdreams.org, and we would be happy to send you in the right direction. We help with fundraising so that it's not the big cost for schools, because we know, especially now, schools are really struggling, and families are struggling because it's been a huge economic sadness that's happening right now. So just call us or email us, and we're happy to help.
I am with Stream of Dreams Mural Society as well as Wild Coast Ecological Society, and this project is our Brown Creek restoration. This was done in conjunction with Stream of Dreams. It was a very special project. What we were able to do was, starting with the Stream of Dreams Watershed education, we educated 7 schools in this area all about their local watershed and about this special creek. And then the Wild Coast team helped to rehabilitate this creek. This creek was completely covered with mainly Himalayan blackberry and some English ivy. And it also had a lot of erosion issues. There weren't really too many appropriate plants to help anchor in that stream bank, the wetted width of the stream here. What happens is when it rains or any high water, there's nowhere else for it to go. There's a lot of impermeable surfaces, and it just washes directly into this creek. The water level rises really high, it rushes down, and it washes away any of the sediment and soil all along the sides of this creek. When that happens, it goes directly into the water here, and it completely chokes out and smothers any salmonids and their eggs. So it's really important. The sides of the creeks, the riparian zones, are just as important as what's happening in the creeks, even if not more. So one of the main activities we needed to do was provide bank stabilization. And what happens is some fast-rooting plants like willow and dogwood, and then a lot of these other lovely shrubs here, they will root really quickly, and they will grasp onto that soil with their roots. That way it won't just wash away. There was a lot of ivy along the edges here. That ivy has very, very thin root system. Definitely does not provide that bank stabilization, and it will just completely get filled with sediments. The other issue is there wasn't very much shade here. There was no vegetation kind of at the mouth of this creek. It's still growing now because we had to plant it, but this was also happened to be, we noticed, one of the only pools that was available for these salmonids in the summer, because it dries up so much in this area. They needed this habitat. We first were able to take out all the invasive plants, do a lot of erosion control in here, a lot of native planting, and a lot of water quality and testing as well. And then we hosted any classes that were able to come that had been previously educated by Stream of Dreams to help us do some mulching and invasive removal and planting especially, and they all got to see the fish in this creek as well, and they learned a lot about how to protect this creek and just really make that connection from what they learned with Stream of Dreams to this specific area where they can see everything around here goes directly into this exact creek. It was also really special because a lot of the kids and the teachers in this community had no idea there were fish in this creek right in their backyard. And one of the activities we even did was we were able to look at the fish from trapping them in G-traps, and the kids were able to see them just like in this little picture here, and that was a really special experience for those students. But we did a very thorough job, and it just needs a small amount of maintenance, but if you can even see down here, there's hardly anything at all growing back, which is really wonderful. Also mainly because we did a lot of mulching to really try to suppress that, and a lot of planting. So over time, these plants have grown bigger and bigger. It's also provided a lot of extra food for our local pollinators and for lots of different birds. We have a variety of berry producing plants here that would naturally be growing. So we see lots of amazing birds all down this little corridor here. So it's providing bird habitat. It's providing a lot of really wonderful shade and helping to hold in that riparian zone, the stream bank, with their roots. And we also did a lot of willow staking as well, and also tried to patch up some holes, some erosion that the dogs have been creating as well. So that's kind of the new state of this area, and we're really excited to see those changes. And something else to note that was really neat about this project in general as well was that these students were able to just get that hands-on experience, and some of them even grew some of the little seedlings that they were able to plant here as well. And we even did a survey after we did all of our programming with Stream of Dreams to find that 90% of our respondents from the school families heard about Stream of Dreams from their students, and 80% of them committed to making changes in their daily lives to ensure that their watershed was protected. And specifically, they named things like washing their car on grass or gravel, and just being more mindful of what they use so that it doesn't go into this creek. And that was really special to see that the education turned into direct action to help their local creek.
You mentioned that this was sort of an offshoot of Stream of Dreams. If somebody wanted to get involved in a project like this, how would they contact you or your organization?
They could contact Wild Coast Ecological Society, and that's just admin@wildcoastecological.com, or they can just look us up on social media as well. And this is our Fish and Flowers project. Everything came together really wonderfully here, and we would love to be able to do something like this again.
Yeah, so I'm Carl, and my organization is called the Web of Life. And it kind of all came to fruition a couple years back when I was doing some cleanups along the river, just even hiking along the river. And I started seeing like more and more trash. And the more I saw, the more I realized that I had to do something about it. So I actually created my organization called the Web of Life. It was actually a vision to employ youth with either with barriers to employment or youth who are at risk, and give them something to do that's really nourishing to them and get some time out in nature, and also help the ecosystem. And I'm as well a organic master gardener, so I do some gardening as well, and I wanted to bring youth into the fold and get them doing some garden projects and permaculture and veggie gardens as well. Yeah. So we do like ecological restoration. We're not a full-fledged ecological restoration company yet, but we do more ecological cleanup. So the stuff that we find is actually pretty mind-boggling. You know, we go through the forest and you come across homeless camps with tents, tarps, but we found actual things like massive fuel drums with lead paint chipping and huge industrial tires that are leaching into the ecosystems. One thing that we come across quite often is buried trash in the land, and we call them tumors because you start digging them out and you'll actually pull up a giant bag full of like plastic and batteries, and it's pretty gross. So this area that we're working on is really ecologically sensitive. Not only is there a river ecosystem with salmon, but there's also wetlands, and there's ephemeral wetlands. So if we left this stuff here, it would actually start breaking down into the ecosystem and getting into the food chain. And that's one of the reasons why my organization is called the Web of Life, is because we're actually protecting the web of life. So, well, we help to prevent a lot of the toxic chemicals, plastic, rubber, all that stuff that we don't want in our watershed from getting in further into the stormwater and getting further into our sensitive creeks and rivers and habitats. So initially, like if we left all that stuff in the forest, it would be getting into the stormwater runoff and into our ecosystems. If someone wanted to volunteer, they could actually, right now I don't have a website, I'm working on that. They could send me an email at carlos.ronca, RONKA, @gmail.com. And you can also find me on Instagram, and you can connect with me there to volunteer. So it's my Instagram is the Web of Life, the.web.of.life. So there's dots in between all the lettering. So if you are not in this local area and you want to do a cleanup, don't hesitate. Just get out and start, making a dent in some of the trash that you see. So eventually it's going to be really pristine in your area. So.
Hi, I'm Robin Wischel. I'm the president of the Hoyscott Watershed Society. We're a small volunteer group that works in the city of Coquitlam, and we're standing by Hoy Creek. A lot of our problems based on water quality has to do with humans and storm drains, and we've had a lot of challenges over the years, whether it's construction runoff, people putting paint down the storm drains, and a couple years back a very serious fish kill due to a unknown invisible toxin that killed half of our fish at the hatchery and a good stretch of anything living in the creek for about 1 kilometer. So we were really pleased that when we were contacted by FlowLink Environmental recently to look at what our water quality is like. So we've got Kim Mays, who's our director in the society, and she's leading that program, and she's going to tell you more about that next.
Hi, my name is Kim Mays, and as Robin mentioned, I'm with the Hoyscott Watershed Society, and I'm here to tell you about our water quality monitoring program, which is just now getting started. We have partnered with FlowLink and the Department of Fisheries and Oceans to help us capture several parameters throughout our streams. These include pH, conductivity, turbidity, flow using depth, along with current or respective weather conditions. Currently, we're collecting this data manually, and FlowLink is helping with this at 3 locations along Hoy Creek. However, we will be installing data loggers to help us with this. At the moment, we're gathering this data to help us establish a baseline so we can understand what is typical in our stream. As we expand the program, we'd like to start testing for things like alkalinity, ammonia, various anions such as chloride and fluoride, E. coli, various heavy metals, as well as dissolved oxygen. We aim to test these on a monthly basis, and we'll also add in some hydrocarbon and volatile organic compound testing as well. We're hoping this information will be able to help us detect spills when they do occur, or other pollutants that are introduced to our streams, which should of course not normally be there. The goal is then to share this data that we've collected with other streams and organizations such as FlowLink and the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, to make it public on their website. The key is to make sure we're collecting high quality data. To help us with this, we of course rely on our volunteers. Volunteers play an important role in helping us collect samples, carry out testing, and also to check the data loggers to download the data to a smartphone app. From there, we can analyze and share the data. If you'd like any more information on this, or if you'd like to get involved, please visit our website at hoyscottcreeks.org or check us out on Facebook at Hoy Scott Creek. Thank you very much.